Coming at you live from La Puente, California. This is my beautiful home studio here in La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast. This is All Dodgers Live, part of the Believe Network of podcasts. What is going on, Clint Nation? Happy Thirsty Thursday. I spoiled the reveal already. There's a random head in the corner of the screen. We'll talk about that in a second on today's show, besides the random head in the corner. 3 up, 3 down. We are going to talk some Shohei Ohtani baseball talk. There was a homer that was hit. It created problems, apparently. We got some Gavin Lux talk. We got some James Outman talk. We might talk about Robo umps, depending on how much the top of the show evolves. We'll say like that. We're going to look at the Cubs series and a whole lot more on another edition of All Dodgers Live. First, I am Clint Pasillas. You guys can find me as Real FRG. I moved it to over here on the Twitter and all that kind of stuff. Follow me there if you want. I host this All Dodgers show on my YouTube channel. Check it out. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy your Dodgers. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy your Dodgers. Subscribe to the channel if you love your mom. That's an important one. We use all tactics here to get people to like us and all that kind of stuff. If you're watching live, drop into the chat. I want to know you guys are representing your Dodgers fandom on this off day, the first real off day of the season. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, any of those spots, give us a 5-star review, because those type of things that really do also help out the channel. And one last thing, if you have not had enough of me and my annoying voice, I co-host a show called Dodgers Territory on the Foul Territory Network with Alana Rizzo. Fun stuff. We talked about a lot of things today, but nothing as exciting as more Shohei Ohtani drama. But first, I got to talk about the little guy in the corner there. This is a fellow by the name of Kevin Skinner. So you guys have seen him in the chat here and there. He was my last real, I guess, hire at Dodgers Nation. I liked what he did. I liked his baseball mind, and I like his Dodgers fandom. Even though he's not a dude who lives in L.A., he's got a good voice, good enough voice, we'll say. Even though he doesn't like his own voice, and we always respect people who do not like their own voice. But Kevin, reveal the voice. Tell people about a little bit about you and what we're hoping you do here on the show.
Yeah, you mentioned the small head in the corner is actually a huge head. I have a massive noggin for somebody that's only 5'7". So I wore extra large football helmets when I played in high school. I grew up in San Diego. My family had the good sense of raising me a Dodgers fan because both of my parents are from Los Angeles. My mom's from South Pasadena. My dad's from Palos Verdes. So growing up in San Diego, I hated the Padres because all of my friends are Padres fans. And so I never had any real Dodgers fans growing up outside of my own family. But I've been to plenty of games. I'm out here in Chicago. I'll be at one of the games on Saturday, and just here to help Clint along. Just give him somebody to bounce an idea off here or there. Maybe, I won't say bring facts to a fight, but maybe stats to a scuffle.
Oh man, hold on. We'll give you your first round of applause for Kevin. So yeah, he's the unofficial co-host, but we're gonna call him Producer Kevin for now, as we come up with things and we talk about things, and hopefully he can be that guy who tells me, wait, shut up, you're way wrong about this. Please interrupt me any time, unless I'm really just on one. Then definitely interrupt me. But guys, let's get into. I'm going to put you back in the small bubble right now. Bring up the chat. Let's see. So we got, and of course he's also going to read from the chat. That'll be one of his prime functions, as well, as to bring up people from the chats. Hopefully we don't say a lot of the same comments, because sometimes that does happen. But let's talk about folks in the chat here. Eric, we got Eric Arcos in the chat saying new character. So we got a new character unlocked. I hope you feel happy about that one, Kevin. E. Castillo's checking in from the Coachella Valley, or the Coachella Valley, if you don't know how to say it right. We got Craig in the chat. We got my guy, Richard Flores, in the chat, rocking with us from Devore. Michael Carrillo talking about the whole Shohei Homer drama thing, which in reality it is something of a drama, and it involves Shohei Ohtani. So nobody accuse me of clickbait, because it is accurate. Another Kevin in the chat going on. We got Kevin Uhas in the chat saying, "What's up, Clinton Nation?" Checking in. I didn't know this was a Tampa Bay, Florida guy. So that's crazy. We got Denny from Colton. We got Craig, of course, from Lawndale. Poor House Picker from Virginia Beach. Chris checking in on from Kentucky, was also on Dodgers territory earlier. Appreciate you, Chris. Hector X from the 562. That's my hood. Whiskey today, yes. Happy Thirsty Thursday, my dudes. We are drinking a little bit of whiskey and cola. And Kevin, one of these days you said you're going to be having a drink with us.
Yeah, eventually. Right now it's currently dry, as it were. Starting Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe I'll get back off the wagon, I guess. And yeah, maybe next week I'll.
It's like before a Wrigley series. Come on, man.
Unfortunately, I'm going, like I said, the Saturday game, and I'm not actually going to be able to drink, so it's kind of unfortunate.
Well, we'll drink plenty for you here in the chat, guys, but let us talk about this Shohei drama. First, the Dodgers sweep the Giants. We got to talk about that. That's an important thing. That's always exciting when the Dodgers sweep the hated ones. They do it in relatively convincing fashion. They mix in a bullpen game there. They go through the entire bullpen, essentially, up to and including Dinelson Lamet getting that save in Game 3 in the Wednesday game last night. But also last night, Shohei Ohtani connects on his first home run as a Los Angeles Dodger. His excitement, this pomp and circumstance. Shout out. Joe Davis crushed that call, by the way. You can tell he's been wanting one of those because he's missed a couple of them over the last few years, being a big boy and having a big big fancy job with the Fox and all that kind of stuff. But with that homer, with that situation, somebody ends up with the ball 9 times out of 10, and a nice lady presumably ended up with the baseball, and we were told she got a signed baseball, a couple of hats. I think there was a bat mixed in there, and now a day later, the report from the Athletics, Sam Blum, he's actually an Angels reporter, we're hearing that return was not good enough. Talk about the drama a little bit here. So the report says that she was separated from her husband, and then she wasn't able to kind of talk through the situation. It's slightly blocked on my screen, so I got to find it over here, and I could read through it properly. But the initial takeaways for you on this, because this is something that's, we'll call it breaking just minutes before we go live. Does this sniff as something that's trying to create more drama than we want or than we need, or do you think there's some smoke to this fire?
No smoke. It's an Ohtani story, and somebody wants clicks, views. Specifically the author, we can get into that if we want. But
Sam Blum has a little bit of a reputation.
Yeah, the reputation, sure, but he also has a reputation of poking and prodding players and trying to get stuff that can be inflammatory in nature, let's say. But by all accounts, I even think the woman who caught the ball said on her Twitter account that she was happy with what she got, and she didn't want to be, like, quote unquote, that person because everything was signed. And I just think this is something trying to capitalize. Like the $100,000 figure, where does that come from?
Somebody somewhere said that maybe that baseball could have been worth upwards of $100,000 if it were being sold. Of course, here it says in the article that the Dodgers were threatening to not authenticate. We'll loosely say the Dodgers were not, or threatening to not authenticate the baseball if she did not essentially hand it over. It sounds like maybe we have a situation here where again, she was reportedly separated from her husband, was not able to consult with him. Why she's unable to make decisions on her own, I don't know. But it sounds like she was happy with her come up. It seems like a good situation. She was happy to get the ball back to Shohei. But now all of a sudden, we're seeing a lot of quotes from the husband in this Athletic article, and you do wonder if maybe these people are online and they're seeing everybody talk about, like, oh, they could have got a lot more, man. Hey, Dickful, I would have got like way more from the Dodgers for that. I would have asked for a Porsche and a car, even though I did talk about a car earlier, jokingly with Alana Rizzo on Dodgers territory. But is this a situation? Do you think this is a situation where maybe fans online kind of bullied them into saying, oh no, we really wanted more, but they forced us to not talk to each other, and they said this take it or leave it kind of deal?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Pat Dwyer brings up a good point. Pat Dwyer, to their credit, says they would have tried to get more. I mean, sure, everybody would have tried, but they bring up the point that they were never not going to authenticate the ball, because by not authenticating it, the team that loses is the Dodgers, because then as soon as she walks out with that ball unauthenticated, they can never technically get it back. You will never know if that ball was the one that Shohei hit or not. So they lose out. I think a lot of people want to look at what you got and be like, that's it. You look at, I mean, we were talking about before we got on what the ball that Aaron Judge's 62nd home run ball got was like worth millions of dollars. And this doesn't really pale in comparison, but when you kind of juxtapose how much that was worth, and then this ball, you know, you start comparing this or getting this idea that, oh, maybe these baseballs are worth a ton of money. I don't know.
People will pay, man.
People will pay, sure, but it's a home run ball, and it's Shohei's first home run ball as a Dodger. It's not his first home run. It's not a real milestone of like his 300th, his 500th or 700th. It's it's a stat on a Thursday night football game where it's it's a third down and they have the best yardage per play on third down against the NFC East when it's raining. Like, there's just so many levels that it goes down that.
Again, this is that era where we cherry pick the stats. We enjoy the super cherry pick stats. This baseball is worth a lot more to Shohei than it is to anybody else, and we're happy Shohei does get the baseball back. That's the important thing. Whether or not all of this drama has any meat to the bone is besides the point. I like what 275 Vet says in here. A Dodger fan doesn't need to extort the Dodgers. I think if we're being fair, if we're being living in the realm of reality, yeah, Shohei gave Ashley Kelly a Porsche for a number. He's not going to buy her a house, buy this lady a house for a baseball in this situation. But the important thing is Shohei gets off the schneid. If it was a schneid, gets off the schneid, hits his first homer as a Dodger, gets the magic elixir. Talking to Dave, we'll talk about that more in a second. And importantly, it happens at Dodger Stadium in front of the Dodger faithful, where it gives us this opportunity to potentially complain about something or have somebody else complain about something. But guys, get us some more thoughts from you. We got Bob Student 10 saying tickets, signed merch, and pictures of Shohei or Showtime would be nice. I think that's pretty fair.
That's what I would have wanted.
Yeah, the tickets. I really like the tickets idea.
Yeah, I would have said, like, can I get like a box to a game? Just like one game. Let me get a box.
Yeah,
because I've never been in one. Just give me. That's something they can give away. It doesn't technically cost them anything. They already make fistfuls of money, so that would have been cool.
Yeah, my co-host on Dodgers Territory, Alana Rizzo, she said, go into that dugout club, really go ham, and talk to her bartender to make the Riz. I think she called it the Rizzo. She's been known to put a few back from time to time here. The other thing, there was also some back and forth about whether or not Shohei actually met the lady. I think he did, but it was somewhat misinterpreted. I will stand up for Will Ireton in this situation, who's kind of been pressed into duty as Shohei Ohtani's interpreter after all of this Ippei drama. Like, Will has done this professionally in the past, but it's been a long time. His last time doing this was back in 2019 before the Dodgers traded Kenta Maeda to the Twins that offseason. So he hasn't translated for money in a few years. So it's going to have to knock some of the rust off in doing that, some of the cobwebs off. But to me, this whole thing, it's a non-story. It does not involve Shohei. This appears to involve the Dodgers. And maybe, we live in that era where if you bitch about things enough online, you're going to probably get something else. Maybe somebody somewhere is going to give her something, or the Dodgers are going to send her more bullshit, whatever it is. But just complain, kids. It really plays up in the long run.
Yeah, I see a lot of people just saying, ball, hat, season tickets, something along those lines. A lot of people seem to be on that train. Bob Nightingale, friend of the show, as always, has the best take, in my opinion. Would have traded it for all-you-can-eat pavilion to come back.
That's a good one right there, right?
From a long
Rest in peace. What's it called? The all-you-can-eat pavilion. Right field's greatest tragedy was losing the all-you-can-eat pavilion. But drama aside, again, the Dodgers sweep the Giants. That's what you want to see. Like I already said, they do it with a bullpen game. They're using the schedule to their advantage. Like I was saying for most of the offseason while I've been doing this solo before producer Kevin so kindly agreed to join me in this shit show. So thank you, Kevin. But
I agreed on that point too with this
so many
six-man
Thursdays.
rotation. You really won't call it that.
You take advantage of these days off. You have an unofficial 6-man rotation, even though it's going to be a bullpen game here and there. And you don't need to have these guys, I know Dave is saying recently, most recently, he's kind of throwing out that he wants the main starters, the big names, the big horses to be going, 6 innings, going through through a lineup 3 times here and there. I don't see that happening immediately. I think, there's no need to at this point. I don't think there's a need to really overly extend them. Buy some time into the season, and then get everybody as locked and loaded as you can heading into October, where they can face the next set of demons. But there are a bunch of Thursday off days over the next few months, so the Dodgers are going to take advantage. You might not see the same guys going every 5th day or every 6th day, or sometimes with like with Yamamoto, maybe every 7th day, but pieces are there, pieces are moving. You got people starting, yada yada. I don't really know how to segue out of this one, but the other important part, the offense keeps going. Mookie's chugging along. The story, though, again, let's talk about Shohei Ohtani in this as we flip to the segment. This is our main big fat juicy segment of the show, 3 Up 3 Down, in honor of my friend Eric Yulo. Don't worry, he's fine. He just doesn't do this for a living anymore. But we got 3 Dodgers, or 3 players, 3 topics to talk about that are good. Maybe sometimes it may be good, maybe sometimes it may be shit. So let us talk about Shohei Ohtani, who admitted he was struggling. He was pressing, he was chasing that homer. And then we see him speaking to Dave Roberts, the show whisperer, who Dave told him, just be yourself, man. Like, you're fine. It's going to come. And then that night, Shohei gets off with a 430-foot shot to the right field pavilion. No longer all you could eat. Man, that was a pretty sight to see. What do you think? And what are folks saying about any Shohei in the chat? That doesn't have to do with the baseball and all that drama.
I would love to transition, but I have to highlight Carnivorous Lunar Activity saying the ball is Decoy's new fetch toy. That is fantastic. That's so funny.
That's a pretty good one.
And with Shohei, you're right. He was clearly pressing, and I think pressing for Shohei looks a little uglier than most players because his helmet flies off every time he misses a ball. But he was clearly pressing. Talks to Dave. He doesn't need to do a whole lot, and they're winning more or less without him. He's batting, I think, like 250 at this moment, and Mookie Betts is on another planet currently. There's like an all points bulletin on planet Earth looking for him. Freddie's doing his thing. Teoscar, Max Muncy hitting bombs. So he doesn't have to do a lot, and I think that's actually going to take some getting used to for him because he doesn't always have to do it all on this team.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the Angels, but also all disrespect to the Angels. He doesn't have to carry the load anymore.
Yeah, so. He really is. And speaking of carrying the load, we got my guy, Richard Flores, with the $4.99 super chat in the show, in the house here. Thank you very much. Richard says, we don't understand why Dodgers fans complain about the food line at Dodger Stadium. We think it's fine. Sincerely, the DMV and Disneyland, to completely pull us out of the topic, but we always appreciate a super chat. And the point is, the lines are really long. They're going to take some time. And with the new pitch clock, you're going to miss an inning or two just trying to get one of them $40 micheladas these days. I saw another chat here from Moose 1032 asking, do we think Mookie is doing well right now? If we're talking Shohei, you got to talk Mookie, who's really been leading this team all season long. We say all season, it's 8 games, or 9 games now. Do we think he's doing so well because the pressure is off of him and on Ohtani more? Mookie did well in Boston with multiple stars on the team. Of course, there he had Big Papi kind of leading the charge a lot of the time for him. I think Mookie, and I talked a little bit earlier about this on Dodgers territory, I think Mookie is less is feeling less pressure about his hitting and feeling less pressure about needing to perform offensively because he's focused so much on getting better at shortstop. He's working with infield coach and third base coach Dino Ebel. He's working with Miguel Rojas, who is arguably the best defensive shortstop in baseball. And we're going to talk defense in just a second, by the way, because it's been sneaky good according to reports. But I think that's the kind of Mookie situation. I think it's more about he has something else to think about, and he's, as Dave said, he's just going out there and having fun. Or maybe alternatively, he's so pissed. He's still so pissed about that NLDS sweep where he goes over that he's this fired up to start the season. What would you lean more on that one, producer Kevin?
I actually completely aligned with you. I think a lot of it has to do with he is just upset at the narrative of he's literally been a no-show in the last 2 playoff series. And I think part of it too is he's not worrying about his offense. He's worrying so much more about his defense. He looks so relaxed at the plate. Like, and sometimes it's infuriating to watch him take like 95 straight down the middle on the first pitch because he doesn't swing on the first pitch. But he just looks so relaxed even when doing that. He's just gathering information. He's swinging at the right balls, and when he's connecting. I think he's just basically taking his time. He's not. Like to say he had stars on the Red Sox when they won the World Series in 2018. Yes, but he's had stars on the Dodgers as well. Like Freddie Freeman and Trey Turner they're dudes. Freddie is Hall of Fame track. Trey Turner is still one of the better hitting shortstops in baseball. The Phillies didn't give him 200 or whatever million for nothing.
Yeah, 300.
So he's had the talent around him. I think now he's just focused and having fun. He's enjoying being in the infield, and he's focused on playing in the infield and isn't worried about the offense anymore. Because in right field, I think it's, well, the defense will take care of itself. I just have to be really good at hitting or else this doesn't make sense. Now, when he's in the infield, he can kind of do the inverse. As long as I'm good defensively, the at-bats will take care of themselves.
And admittedly, for Shohei or for Mookie, he gets bored in the outfield. And I will tell you, as a consummate outfielder, consummate athlete myself, the outfield can get pretty damn boring. He's involved in every play at shortstop, whether or not the ball comes to him, goes to second, goes to third, or goes to the outfield. He's involved in every single play. There's only one spot that's more involved in every play, and that is at the catcher position. So I think I keep saying Shohei, I think Mookie is just a very happy fella at the moment.
No Ortega highlights that, says Mookie's just having fun, not trying to be a star. And I think that's it. He's just having a good time in the infield, and he knows he's just 1 of 9 at this point, and his 1 of 9 just happens to be arguably the best on the planet right now.
Dave Luna, we got a couple good from him, says he cares more about the team wins over personal achievements, as we know with Mookie, who, by the way, congrats to Mookie, just got career hit number 1,500. And he also says, I think this is the season Mookie became a Hall of Famer because he's really trying to carry this team. We saw it, especially in the 2 losses. You hear him talking, it sounds like Kirsch. Hey, this is leadership time. This is time to put on your big boy pants, worry maybe a little bit less about the bowling, even though I'm not one of those dudes that throws him under the bus for having a life outside of the baseball field, and that's also slightly more public than maybe some other dudes will put out there. Mookie's a happy fella, and it shows. It very much shows. I think if we see it, if Dave is seeing it and telling us that, I think we could believe him. Let's talk about the next thing that is part of our up before we just crap all over some things for fun. The Dodgers defense a week in, like you told me, this is one of the things that you wanted to talk about, is I let the producer call the shots here in episode 1 because that's how cool I am. That's how nice of a fella I am. I kid. But outside of that Korea series, pretty damn good. What do you got numbers-wise? What are you liking from the defense?
So numbers-wise, defensive metrics, as anybody knows, are really kind of scattered. You can kind of cherry-pick anything, and a lot of the cumulative defensive stats every cumulative stat is really too small of a sample size to go off. But what we can see is Gavin Lux has a 100% fielding rate right now, which is great over at second base. He's he hasn't had to make any crazy plays, but he's making the routine plays, which I think is what you need your second baseman to do. And Mookie Betts is also worth currently, according to StatCast, 1 outs above average. Hooray. It's so early in the season, but they haven't made any egregious errors outside of the Korea series. That in a vacuum, I think at the end of the year, we're just going to kind of throw it out and be like, oh yeah, remember that happened. Max Muncy has also been performing really well at third base. And I think this Giants series really highlighted that for me. Max Muncy in the last game made 2 really good plays, made a couple backhanded stabs and throws over to first. He actually caught the ball, which is great. You start there.
So even that near Jeter moment.
Yeah.
His Jeter attempt.
I was trying to will that ball into Freddie's glove, but he's making great plays. And then you look on the other side, and Matt Chapman is the one with balls getting under his glove or over his glove. And it's just to kind of say it's a hard position to play. And Max is doing it just as well as he can. And even a guy like Matt Chapman, who's got 4 Gold Gloves at home sitting on a shelf somewhere, is prone to make errors. It's gonna happen. And where Matt Chapman's kind of flailing a little bit in San Francisco, it's early in the season, it happens. Max is making plays and also hitting bombs. So it's looking good right now. It's early. I think they got some hiccups out of the way in Korea, but the stats point to it's looking good. And Max is technically worth -1 outs above average, but he's also, doing Max Muncy things at the plate. So who cares?
Yeah. All he needs to do is not be a problem at third base. That's all anybody was ever asking for. Don't be a problem at the position. He was a problem there early last season, and then it snowballed, as he told us a few times in the offseason, particularly at FanFest, Dodgers Fest, that it was a problem for him. It snowballed, and it kind of led to some mental issues for him. Now, like I was really, really hoping throughout the offseason, I think he put in the work. We heard about him putting in the work, and I think he was going to be pissed enough at himself for not living up to his own personal standard as a defender, that he was going to be pissed enough at himself to put in that work. And it did, and it's showing, because he's not a problem, and that's what's most important for this team. You need guys like him to not be just negative like 15, what am I looking for? Defensive run saved, or like Teoscar Hernandez, who doesn't come over here with the most stellar defensive metrics to his name. He's also another guy, not a problem. You just need to show up, do your damn job, and then let Mookie shine, ideally. Let Freddie shine. Let James Outman, ideally, or hopefully, shine in center, and will keep it locked down up the middle. But I agree. I like what I'm seeing, and for me, on defense. And people will tell you I'm a big-time fan of the D. Don't laugh. Oh, God. Damn it. Anyways, I'm defense through and through. I believe in the idea that defense wins championships. I think this team at time has strayed a little far from believing or caring about the defense, but when you got enough power in the bats, I don't know, I'm just saying a lot of words right now, but when you got enough power in the bats, you can offset some of those issues, and right now they're doing just fine, and nothing major to write home about, and that's what's good. And I think people, even in the chat, you don't have a chance. I'm seeing few, Max Muncy is so fat in the chat, and that's a good thing, because people are being like, oh, he's doing fine. Max is doing fine.
If he's league average at third base, he's instantly one of the most valuable at that position, because there are not many third basemen who can hit the way he can. And so he doesn't need to be stellar. He just needs to be approaching league average defensively.
Yep. Got to fix one little thing right here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's talk one last good thing, one last up. I just wanted to put some more love out in the world for Evan Phillips, who has been perfect to start the season. I probably should have pulled the stats up to have them in front of me, but has a few saves, no runs allowed so far this season. He's K-ing dudes at a nice rate. Again, very early season, but to know that you have a lockdown closer, and the fact that we now know Evan Phillips is your Dodgers closer. He's doing it all. He's doing exactly what this team is asked for, and needs to be a Dodger. He needs to be an all-star this year. He was robbed for an all-star berth last year. He needs to be an all-star in 2024. Yeah, maybe 4 outings so far is not that huge of a deal, but you already got a 4-out save out of him this early in the season. That's impressive, and he's going to do what this team needs. And what we need you guys to do, as I click here and I push the button that tells you, make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Those are things that really do help out the channel. As we flip ourselves over to down, I'm going to combine 2 here. We got to talk about Gavin Lux and James Outman, who are we'll just say, I'll be nice about it and say they're having a slow start to their season. It feels to me like they're hitting the ball pretty damn hard, but maybe it's a bad luck situation for them. What do you feel in your infinite Dodger core about what we're seeing so far out of these dudes?
So actually I looked at both of them. They both only have 7 hits that StatCast would qualify as a hard hit ball. So that's anything hit 95 or more miles an hour. So they both only have 7. So they're actually not hitting the ball.
I would say the last couple of days they had a few rocket shots that were kind of atom balls, which tells me they're starting to come back a little bit.
James Outman more so than Gavin Lux. James Outman had 4 in the last 2 games. So that tells me he's maybe getting something back on track. James Outman has a 176 BABIP, so that's a batting average of balls in play. Typically, that number hovers around 300 is usually what we consider like normal. So he is very much in line for some regression to the mean. So he's slashing 120, 267, 120, which is horrendous. But with that 176 batting average or BABIP, we should see that tick up, especially like we just mentioned. He has 4 hard hit balls in play or in the last 2 games. So I think he's starting to find his swing. Gavin Lux is kind of the really scary one to me. So like defensively, he's been fine. He only has 7 hard hit balls all year. That's in quite a few more plate appearances than James Outman. But he has a 250 BABIP. Like there's not much room really for improvement there. He's in the first percentile in barrel rate, and he's never in his career been great at barreling up the ball. His expected numbers, like his xWOBA is 301, his expecting batting average is 272. So like you could argue that maybe he's getting some bad luck, but there's a little bit more to be concerned with Lux at the plate than Outman. I think Outman, like there was that one rocket shot into right field that just like landed straight into somebody's glove. You're like,
yeah, again, both it's like borderline bad luck. Maybe it's as bad luck as Dodgers fans in this situation. Lux, 5 for 25 on the season. Just the 1 extra base hit so far. I think he has 2 extra base hits, including spring training in all of 2024. So, I mean, this was the bat that we were told, oh my God, this guy needs to be in the lineup. We will move him to second base and we'll put Mookie at shortstop because Lux's bat is so damn good. Early, but we're waiting on it. We are waiting on that bat. My guy Cody, Mr. Canelo of the Bleed Lows podcast in the chat says talking about James Outman, he's about to get that dad pop. Congrats to James Outman and Dasha Outman, who announced they are having their first child. So we'll give them the clap. So baby Outman coming soon enough. And shit, it was a year ago ish where Dodger baby, I'm gonna call it baby gate because why not? And I have a friend who watches the show who hates when people call everything gate, where they had, what was it, like 6 babies in a less than a month or whatever. So many people, I think that was last year, or it was not 2 years ago. Time has no meaning. This guy right here, Roy Estrada, giving us a good time. 999 super chat. Thank you very much, Roy. Says we want to sweep in Wrigley. Let's go. We are going to talk about that Wrigleyville series in a little bit, but we got to go through more down. So we combine 2 down there with the Lux and Outman situation. I agree with what our producer Kevin here is saying. I think we are closer to seeing Outman, and I mean the stats don't lie. So we're closer to seeing Outman break out of it than we are Lux. And
he's done it before. Last year he slumped like in June and July, and then the back half of the season he was great. Yeah. So that's the thing, is there's more reason to believe in Outman breaking out of it as well than Lux, because Lux hasn't really done it. He had the one off year in 21, came out in 22, hit well, got injured, and then hasn't really like been the same hitter since that neck injury in the middle of 2022. So we have no idea if he can adjust to what he's saying. Yeah, and with Outman too, one more thing, he's also just not hitting fastballs, which like his expected batting average. Expected batting average on his fastball goes like tanks, but he's seeing off speed and breaking pitches just fine. So if he can just hit a high fastball, he should be fine.
There's a hitting coach Kevin as well, right there.
Exactly. Just hit the high fastball, guys.
Just go there. Just hit the if you see a pitch, just hit it. Make go far. Just trot around the bases. Easy game. I had one. I lost it. A few people jumping in the chat talking about what we were talking about before with the the home run baseball mania, or not baseball mania, but I'm going to call that one Homergate, Shohei Homergate. But to shift gears and talk about the last down here. Oh, wait, that's what I was going to say. On Lux, sorry, it's been a real scatterbrained day for me, guys. On Lux, we can still credit the fact, or we can still at least acknowledge the fact that, yeah, this is a guy that missed an entire year. Still maybe going through some of the comeback and growing pains with his knee situation. I'm sure that doesn't necessarily help your swing mentally when you have a bum leg, or you feel like you might have a bum leg under you, even though he's fully healed, he's ready to go, he's looking pretty decent when he's moving, when he's running. You know, the sprint speed I think is still pretty damn close to what it's been. I have not looked up the numbers, so you guys know me for years, not a huge number guy personally. I'm all about that eye test, but some of the things are there for Luxy, but you just gotta, I don't know if you give him time here or if you give him time in AAA, and if you do at AAA, you know, who do you bring up afterwards? That this is kind of sort of the issues, or not even an issue. This is where the Dodgers sort of find themselves, and we're seeing right now it's not that huge of a deal. They're still winning. They're still 7-2. So to kind of have to just let Lux kind of do his thing, as opposed to trying to fix something that is broken but not necessarily a problem. Yeah, just turn up the radio is what I'm saying. And when your car starts making that weird noise, just crank up the radio and that fixes it. Or, you know, blast a few more Mookie or Shohei bombas, and you know, a couple more Freddie Freeman doubles in there. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and down, I've already talked about it a few times, so it will be real quick. This was just to meet the quota of 3-3. I want to complain just for a second about the 40-man roster situation. The roster space situation is dire for this team. That's where we see them lose a guy like, well, I mean, thankfully he did stay in the organization. Did the name escapes me right now. Yeah, no, that fool Nabil Krismat, who had a nice 2-inning appearance earlier this week, and then was rewarded with a win. And sorry, you got a GTFO, because we need another former teammate of his, the Nelson Lamet, to come up and then somehow become the closer for them, or what have you.
Nelson Lamet. Oh,
you big time Lamet guy.
Huge. I liked him with the Padres a lot, and he didn't undergo like a second Tommy John or something like that, and he's just been struggled. He struggled ever since. I will say it didn't help him. He pitched in Coors for like 2 years, which isn't going to help any pitcher's numbers, but at least he got to get on the plane the next day and didn't get shipped out. So,
that's fair.
The 40-man roster, I don't get it either. A couple quick notes. The Dodgers are carrying 4 catchers on the 40-man roster, which is 2 more than they really should have. They should really just have their guys. They should just have Barnesy and Will Smith. So they have Hunter Fiducia, Diego Cartaya. Hopefully with Will Smith locked up for the long term, maybe they move Fiducia, would be my guess, because I don't think they're going to try to sell low on Cartaya. And the one name that I just didn't get to begin with is, I don't know why Ricky Finasco is on this team. I have no clue. He was the first signing of the offseason, and when they signed him, I just looked around and was like, why? There's like Joe Kelly hadn't been signed. Ryan Brazier hadn't been brought back. There were so many other relief pitchers they could have got, and they signed Ricky Vinasco. And I was looking around going, if they bring back anybody, where's he going to play? And lo and behold, we haven't seen him. So I have no clue.
He's like a cockroach, man. He survives everything. Same with Gus Varlin. That's going to be another one of your next guys that really could, see his name called on the DFA line. Or I was super surprised when they just straight up released Matt Gage earlier this week. That's usually not their style. They want to keep people in the organization as long as they can, like we see with Nabil Krismat, who I think really wanted to be a Dodger. He understands the situation that they're in. And I agree. They need to, probably trim at least one of the catchers. Just say at least one of the catchers, because that is a bit of a problem for them. But it's going to continue to be a problem, because at some point you are going to get Brusdar Graterol back, who's on the 60 days. So you're going to need a spot. You are going to get hopefully Clayton Kershaw back down the road, who's going to need a spot off of that 60-day IL. And who else? Maybe May, maybe Dustin May, not Tony Gonsolin, but maybe Dustin May down the road. But there's your. Go ahead.
But even with Treinen coming back, you have to figure out who you're going to option.
Yeah.
To put down, and so there's a
down.
Send somebody. They had to send somebody down to put Trinan onto the roster.
That's how I took
not
it.
putting Trinan.
Yeah, that's how I took it. We're putting him down.
Putting him down. Yeah.
Taking Ricky
Old
Vanasco
Yeller style.
Yeah, we're taking Ricky Vanasco out back of Camelback Ranch, and sorry, buddy. Anyways, there's your 3 up, 3 down fix for the day, gang. Cole says they should trim Barnes. I felt to me for a second there like you really had to force yourself to say Austin Barnes is one of those guys. I don't. You type so slow. Sorry, something's happening on our thing there. What else? Dave Luna saying, speaking of Joe Kelly, who can we talk to at, I don't know what that one was saying, but Joe Kelly has had a struggle to start the season.
He wants Wild Thing as his walk-up song.
Oh, there it is. There's
Which I think you had to talk to Dieter Rule for that one.
Dieter, or it's mostly Dieter, a little bit of DJ Severe in there. So are we going to move on and talk about this robot ump situation, or do we want to save that for another episode? Because we can talk about robo umps at any point in time, really.
We could just, I think now is a good time just because we're just coming hot off the Phil Cuzzy train. That was an experience and a half. I love ump scorecards. It's one of my favorite Twitter follows. And when they came out at 91%, I think their algorithm is wrong because every time somebody threw, it wasn't even like an outside pitch. It was just into the left-handed batter's box. It was a strike. Damn near hitting Gavin Lux. And
that Lux one was egregious. There was a few more of those, but that Lux one really stood out to me. I know that was one of the 3 most costly misses on the calls on the sheet. Unfortunately, the first 2 were related to or went against the Giants, so it kind of takes away a little bit of steam from our argument here. But we're really early into the season where we're already complaining about, hey, when is this automated strike zone happening? When are robo umps happening? There's already, I think, issues earlier today with Angel Hernandez doing Angel Hernandez things, being in midseason form here in the first week of April. Thank you, Angel, always giving us great content. But are you an automatic ball strike guy, or where do you stand on it?
I want full robo umps. I don't even want the challenge system. I want if we're gonna do the challenge system, just what's the point? The reason people want the challenge system is so that the guy standing behind home plate has something to do. He will still have something to do. There still needs somebody to dictate pace of play. He will still need to call all plays at the plate. Check swings, foul balls. He can still basically be the crew chief. You can just make him the primary crew chief at that point. It's just, there's no reason to just have this middle ABS challenge system when
I like that. I'm a fan of the ABS, the challenge system.
I like the idea of just showing up an umpire with it. Like that will be really funny. Like just watch CB Buckner lose his mind after they just keep overturning his calls. Like that would be really funny. But why even go that far? Just let a robot do it. I think 2 years ago they were at 95% accuracy. You tweak that up to 97, 98, you're doing just fine. It's already better. I think the average umpire is at 94%. It's already better than the average umpire. So I don't see why not. The home plate umpire will still have plenty to do. The only reason I want to see the challenge system is just to watch some umpires lose their mind.
Yeah, the union, this is one of those things. Umpires union will fight a tooth and nail. You will get walkouts. You will have a whole lot of issues with these people who essentially their jobs are getting that much closer to being taken away. And that's where I feel like this ABS system, you have this is it technically called automatic ball strike?
Automated balls and strikes.
Okay, yeah. I don't like calling it ABS because to me that means anti-lock brake system. But the idea of the challenge seems fun, but also it seems like it comes with its own set of challenges because you need to limit the amount of challenges or else people are going to be doing this, and then it brings a little bit of the gamesmanship of it in there. But we would like to see the calls be right more often than we see them in some of the biggest stages more often than not. It feels like of late. However, it's also just kind of part of the game. Like, to take that away, to take away that anger and that vitriol, that sounds tough. That sounds very tough to me, to lose such a key aspect of what we've known from Major League Baseball for so damn long. But, I guess I want my cake and I want to eat it too, where I want it to be. I want them to get it right, but also I don't want to change and lose our umpire situation.
Third base and first base umpires can get just as angry as a home plate umpire.
Yeah,
so
that's fair. And we've seen Angel Hernandez crush it at first base as well. Chris says, need a robot that can eject the umpires. I love this. I would also love to just see general accountability for Major League umpires, because we don't hear about anything. You don't hear about if they really do fuck up a game. We don't hear about them getting a fine or getting, at least a slap on the wrist or what have you. It's just, oh yeah, they go back out and they, do their next day and nobody cares, and he's just there and they're exchanging lineup cards and everybody's fine, even though there was a big fight the night before.
Metabolic Holic has a good point. Why is there not a way for umps to calibrate in between innings for themselves? That'd be kind of an easy way to just, maybe somebody could just from upstairs and be like, hey, you're way outside. Like, just rein in that outside edge a little bit.
Yeah.
That then you kind of leave it in the hands of the umpire to then, go off that advice. But why can't they? Why not? I think that comes up with your idea of accountability. They need to answer to it too, because then MLB can say, hey, we're trying. We told them you need to rein it in. And if the ump's not doing it, then a larger conversation can happen.
Hey, Yankees manager Aaron Boone has tried to do that for years when he said, our guys are effing savages in the box. They're savages in the box, and that means, bring it in, tighten it up. Like that. I love that
Boone clip from last year where he's like showing where he was calling the balls and strikes.
He's down in the squat. Aaron Boone, man, he's one of my favorite non-Dodgers umpires. He's
the anti-David Roberts.
Chris says that Phil Cuzzi is an unmitigated disaster. Phil Cuzzi quickly becoming one of those guys in Dodger lore alongside Angel Hernandez, alongside the name you said earlier. Guys, I told you, it's a bad brain day for me, but you said it. CB Buckner, who's really, really fallen off over the last number of years. Michael Ariza says the umpires are like 80 years old. They can't see. Bruh. Yeah, man, when you get that umpire job, you could just stay there for like 40 years and you're good. It's definitely probably a pain in the ass job.
Let umpires be a lesson to everybody here about the power of unions. Just saying. Like, it's the only reason some of them still have a job.
Yeah. Metabolic Hawk is also telling me, like, wanting both sides of it, or wanting to have keep some semblance of the game that we know. Saying, like, try saying that when it's on the line in the playoffs, and then you get that Gavin Lux call in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, F it. I'm all in on robot umps. Bring us Robo umps now. We're gonna get there. It's gonna happen, guys. At some point in time, MLB just loves changing things. They need to change things. As of right now, it's them messing up uniforms and then pretending like everything is kosher. Eventually, they will do something, and then whatever they do with robot umpires are going to do it wrong, and then we have to suffer through that for a couple of seasons. But Robert has said we're seeing more blown calls so far this season, more than ever. Do you feel like we're kind of maybe trending very, very poorly early in the season, or is just a rough small sample size?
I mean, it's always going to be a rough sample size, 9 games into the year. I will say, at least for Dodgers fans, it's been pretty bad. The Korea series, it was clearly like, oh, the umps are just coming back from spring training too. That first game, he was all over the place. Phil Cuzzi, like we said, is fresh in mind. I don't know. It's anecdotal to say that it's worse than ever right now. It's just going to feel bad when you have an ump that just performs as poorly as Cuzzi did. I don't think it's necessarily any worse. It's just been bad for like the last 2-3 years at least. So it's too early to tell.
I also want to see Dave get himself thrown out in one of those situations.
Please.
I know Dave was chirping, but he's just too nice of a dude sometimes.
Oh, what do I have to kill to get Dave Roberts ejected? You know what I mean?
It's been
just one time.
It has
just one time stand up for a batter. One time, like especially in a game where you're already winning. When the game's won, you don't like the bullpen situations. Like on that 5-4 game, they had a bullpen plan in place clearly, and their plan was Denilson Lamet in the 9th. He could have gotten tossed in the 8th, and the plan would have been the same.
Just fine. You're
winning.
You knew what you were doing. You don't need him there. Bob Guerin was fine. Danny Lehman, they can handle it. They are big boys. They know what they would have asked for. They know what they would have asked for had they got Shohei Ohtani's first career home run. They wouldn't need their hubbies there. But, guys, I see Diane in the chat, and I see Diane bringing up a really good point. You guys should hit the thumbs up button. It's one of the things that really helps out these videos. Hit that subscribe button. It's another thing that helps out the channel. It makes us feel like maybe we're doing a good job or maybe doing a bad job, and then you want us to feel the love through subscriptions. That's what I'm going with. But, guys, let's look ahead before we do get the hell out of here. The Dodgers head out for their first official real road trip, because I don't consider Korea a real road trip. I consider that a lot of just show and extended spring training in a way. But Chicago for 3, Minnesota for 3. A lot of cold Dodgers are coming up for us. We have insight here from our Chicago correspondent, producer Kevin. Hey, tell us about that weather out there, Chief.
I'm not wearing this hoodie because it's comfy. I'm wearing it because it's freezing here right now. Somebody, I think Juice Narrows asked how many Showtime home runs at Wrigley. If he gets 1, I will legitimately be surprised. The ball dies here in the early goings because it's cold already, and you get the wind out that blows into the stadium. So any fly ball, you think you've seen it die in the middle at Chavez Ravine, it literally looks like it hits a brick wall out here. It's crazy. So it's just line drives all day. Keep the ball low. If Shohei gets a hold of one, which, I mean, if anybody on the Dodgers, it's going to be him or Teoscar. He's going to have to really get a hold of it.
You get some rocket shots that just barely get into the basket, even though they're like 120 off the bat. This is where one of the reasons why I'm happy that the Dodgers decided to put Jason Hayward on the injured list. Like I said in my video earlier this week, get old man back away from cold as much as you can, and they're going to have the next 6 in cold, where everything's we're looking at like lows in the 30s, highs in the mid 40s. It's going to be ugly for a hot minute. You're going to see a lot of stinging hands and probably, like Kevin said here, not very much offense. But we are going to see some pretty decent probables. We're just 1 day off or 1 day separated from having a real fun matchup between Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Shota Imanaga, who was my guy this offseason. I really wanted them to go in on Imanaga. But Bobby Miller gets the ball on Friday versus Kyle Hendricks, who has been there for what feels like 25 years. Yoshi goes against Jordan Wicks, who I don't know what that is. And then Gavin Stone takes the ball for his second starts against Shota Imanaga, who had himself a hell of a debut there in the north side. And you are going to see Yoshinobu Yamamoto. You will be there. This will be our all Dodgers correspondent at Wrigley Field. Of course, unfortunately, he can't drink at the game, but we'll be drinking in solidarity with you. But what do you like about the series? What are you thinking? What are your predictions, man?
I do actually think the Dodgers will end up dropping one of Saturday or Sunday, mostly because I know because shocker, both the pitchers on Saturday and Sunday throw with their left hand. So I immediately like that, and the added impact of the Dodgers love the long ball and they're not going to get it. It's going to be tough. That's where you would love to see Gavin Lux like kind of be on one, because him hitting ropes gap to gap would have been helpful. I would expect Freddie to have a good series. I do think they'll play well enough to win maybe like the Yoshi game and the Bobby Miller game, because I think Bobby Miller is just going to shove in this weather. Because he's also prone to give up the home run ball, but he's not really going to be able to here. So I think Friday and Saturday, I would expect them to win. Sunday, it's just left-hander that throws like funky ball. Just there's not enough tape on him. It just screams the Dodgers like get one run in the 8th inning, and just I said somewhere earlier like there's one spot that's worse from this trip that they're going to right now, or they're going on, and that would be like Colorado, because I hate Colorado, and especially this time of the year, just be an absolute nightmare. But this is really, really early. It feels so damn early for a Cubs series, and
I hate looking at ugly drab Wrigley on TV. I want to see fun, lively, green ivy Wrigley, but we will not be seeing that. I like we got another resident hitting coach in here, Michael, saying bunt all the time. We should see some bunts dropping out there.
If Austin Barnes is in the lineup and he swings the bat, I will lose my mind. That man should only be bunting.
Could see some knocks there. Maybe this is a series where literally and figuratively Mookie Betts does cool off because he's got some launch angle going right now, and I don't know how much that's going to play in first dude that generally does not have show pop. He doesn't have a lot of pop. He can get you some dingers out there. Does not have a lot of pop here. Young Yi says 1 game at a time with the rotation of Miller, Yama, and Stone. I see a sweep. So we got some positivity there from Young Yi. Let's go. We like to see positivity. Chris saying it's going to be worse in Minnesota. Most likely it's going to be pretty damn ugly. I.E. Doyer, our friend, says the Dodgers really should hire someone who alerts them to abandon the home run swings, like maybe a hitting coach. They can't afford that right now. They already spent too much money. $2 million they're spending on Shohei Ohtani this year. They can't afford that. Come on now. What's going on here, I.E. Doyer? Let's see what else. Michael is also predicting a win tomorrow because he has the day off and wants a win. That's right. We got an early one. It's an 11 a.m. start here in L.A., if I remember correctly, which I'm pretty sure I do. 11:20 start, and then you got a 105 and another 11:20. Helps, I guess, a little bit. No night games, which are going to be even more cold. But yeah, I think I got 2 of 3. I think they will lose one. Which game? I got the Stone game. I think Shota is going to back up his electric debut, and Stone clearly right now kind of the weak link in the rotation, just purely based on his experience situation.
Soft costing lefties, man. I'm telling
and the Dodgers, they really struggle against them.
They just can't hit it at all.
You're gonna have some really rattled hands in the Kyle Hendricks game too. But guys, I will be back in some form on on Monday. Kevin will mostly be around on Thursday shows. Hopefully you guys enjoyed Kevin. I probably threw to him way more than he was anticipating, but I appreciate you sticking with it. What are your takeaways here from episode 1? And then if you did like it, you could tell me afterwards. But right now you're going to be on camera, so you tell everybody this is great, I'm great, and all that kind of stuff, or else.
Yeah, exactly. There is currently not a sniper outside my window with a red dot trained on me. But no, I had a lot of fun. You can ask my fiance. I probably talk about baseball a little too much. So getting to do it to an audience with you, obviously, is always a ton of fun for me. Like I said before, I don't have many Dodgers friends. So now all you are, and I can talk to everybody here. Because when I talk baseball with my friends, they're all Padres fans. And some of them, as you can expect, are unreasonable. So
what? Nah, Padres fans are always locked in. They know what they're doing. They're smart. They've been fans for literally a couple of years. Like, they are in a good spot. But Kevin, I appreciated having you here. I appreciate you joining the journey on this. Hopefully we have more stuff with Kevin down the road. If you guys like him enough, who knows? Maybe I'll throw him his own series on the channel, because why not? That would be fun, maybe. But we will dangle the carrot, because that's what I was taught before. Dangle a carrot. I just hope that I will actually provide the carrot somewhere down the road. We'll be back. Not that way. I'll tell you when you're older. But I will be back live on Monday. We will have it's not exactly pregame, but sort of pregame edition of Dodgers Territory with myself and Alana Rizzo on Foul Territory. Guys, so go subscribe over there. We had another edition of the show today where there was more talking about a whole bunch of Dodgers things, some Shohei stuff, and Alana tells us, which I already spoiled here in the show, tells us what she would ask for if she were to get Shohei Ohtani's first home run ball. Earlier in the week, we had Will Smith on the show. Check that one out if you missed it. I don't know what I'll be doing here next Monday, because it's an interesting start time. It's a 4 p.m. start time Pacific. So I might just do some sort of like watch along situation, possibly on the PSF app. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just stay tuned to the socials, and I will let you know. Probably drop something over the weekend, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll just be asleep the whole weekend. But Guys, appreciate you hanging out with us as always. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you so much for the questions, the comments, and the super chats for the folks that did throw in the super chats this week. We kept the show mostly on the rails this time on Thursday because last week was nuts. Last week got a little crazy.
Pants are still on.
The pants are still on. For now, definitely coming off right after this. But shout out again to Kevin for his first episode. I think he did well, and more to come with this guy. Be sure to tune in to Dodger Territory again on Mondays and Thursdays, 12 Pacific on your on the Foul Territory Network. And if you guys are looking for a different way to support this channel, support me, the channel, independent Dodgers and baseball coverage, I do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/realfrg. We had our first voicemail hotline segment or whatever earlier this week, which is one of the perks you can get from signing up a Patreon. So check it out or don't. It's one of those things that do really help out stuff. Thank you to our mods, who also Kevin now is a mod on the channel, but thank you to our mods for doing a kick-ass job in the chat. And that's about it. I've bored you guys with enough things. Find the podcast if you want that. I'm Real FRG on all of the things. Kevin, give them your social, man, if you want people to follow you.
It's at Skinner7Kevin. I need to change that, but I just put it in the chat. It's too long, and I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm terrible at social media.
What about Real Kev? Real Kev. There it is.
Real Kev. Exactly. I'll think of something. Maybe I'll just steal yours. Who knows?
Nah, you're good. Do your own thing. You do you, boo. But guys, thank you for hanging out. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.